right, you guys? Podcast time.
Chew. It's quieter.
Fucking podcasting right now.
Chew quieter.
And now, to the podcast studio.
It's Chew Quieter, and we're back with another episode. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have a new intro to the show. I know Armando hasn't noticed because he doesn't watch the show or listen to it.
I record it. How am I going to sit and listen to myself? I don't even want to listen to myself when I'm talking. Then go back and listen to it again? No, I'm out.
Yeah, so our new intro is it's new for the year. Of course, the last intro is very short and sweet to the point. This one is still short and to the point, but it's even more sweet. Also, just to catch up on a few other things, we have a new platform we're on. Finally, we're approved to be on iTunes. So if you have the phone that has the little blue bubbles in your text messages in the
fruit phone,
the fruit phones, you can now listen to us on your fruit iTunes that's embedded into your phone. Just look for Chew Quieter in the podcast section and voila, subscribe to us there. Subscribe to us on Spotify, YouTube. Also, we're now on TikTok. Regrettably, I don't want to be, but it is what it is. Also Instagram and Facebook. So give us a follow on those platforms. Follow the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, and you won't miss a fucking thing. All right, so we got the business out of the way, and let's get into the show.
I'm loving this new glow behind you.
It's pretty, right?
It's captivating. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the aura around you.
I do set an aura.
Yeah,
I do have that about me.
It's a whole different aura, though. It's just, This is like it's right around your head, and I can see it around your head. It looks like a Jesus. Ha!
I am very spiritual. Yes.
Yeah, you drink a lot of spirits.
Yes, I do. I'm not drinking any spirits tonight, though.
I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a spiritualist.
Yeah, I need to go back to the liquor store, or as they call it back home, I need to go back to Charlie.
To Charlie?
Yeah, because all the liquor stores are owned by Asians.
Oh, okay.
Vietnamese.
Yeah, you sent me a text last night asking me where I shop online. I don't really shop online. No. I follow like a few of the bourbon guys and the rum guys that have channels on Facebook and YouTube. Or not YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. And they'll have suggestions so that I'll just pop into my local liquor store. Total Wine is pretty good for most of the basic run-of-the-mill stuff. Then we have a place called Ted's Liquor out here in Phoenix that's a little bit better for the harder to find stuff. And then there's Tops in Tempe that is pretty good for some really weird oddball stuff.
Mm-hmm. So recently, I just bought my first bottle of Knob Creek.
Mm-hmm.
I drank about 3/4 of the bottle in one sitting. And the first two glasses, I usually pour a 4-finger glass. The first one went down way too quick. I mean, to the point where the big chunk of ice cube that I put in there was not even phased. And so I poured another one. I was like, I need to go in the garage and work on my AR. So I put some music on, opened the garage door, had my glass, working on the AR. And then my neighbor comes over. And thankfully, the law is different in your home. If you're drinking, if you're drinking in public, and you can't have possession of a firearm, obviously.
Oh, a firearm,
so,
yeah.
In your home, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, of course.
So I was just showing him the new build, which is, it's almost identical to my other duty AR, which is a mega upper and lower. The only difference is they both run the A5 buffer system. The only difference is the one of them is a 16-inch pinned and weld barrel, and that's got a ballistic advantage barrel on it. And then this other one is it's a 10.5-inch Roscoe.
Oh, a little shorty.
Yeah. So I have chemo adapters on them for my can. That way I can just kind of do a hot swap and not have to worry about not fitting or anything else like that.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, that Knob Creek got me fucked up.
Yeah, and Knob Creek's again. That's a good everyday something I can find at Total Wine constantly. It's at any liquor store around here, so it's a good option. I like the fact that you can go into the other stores and get some of the specialty reserve versions, stuff like that. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, and it seems like their basic mash is a 9-year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where everyone else is like 8 years or younger.
Yeah, you're probably the 6 to 8 year for the most part.
Yeah.
And then then just it just depends on, because that bottle, that 750 bottle of the Knob Creek is like $40.
Yep. Yeah, I think I paid $43.
Yeah, it's like $45 range depending on where you buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably on that level. That's probably like my good starter, middle of the road starter, a $35 to $45 bottle. The 25-35 bottle is like maybe there's a bunch of people coming and we're gonna drink all night. We'll start off with the 35-40 with the higher end bottle, then we'll step down from there depending on how much we're drinking.
Yeah.
So
if the dominoes come out, we're drinking.
Yeah. There's rum's coming out at that point.
But I also bought another bottle of Dickel.
Okay.
Yeah. You busted out the shirt.
Just happened to wear it today. I was like, you said, I'm like, wait a minute.
What a coincidence.
We're talking about bourbon again. I just happen to be wearing it today.
Yeah. It's kind of hard for me to go back to vodka now.
Well, because, I mean, you're now drinking straight alcohol and you're sipping it and you're having all those notes and flavors. And are you drinking vodka straight?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Also, anytime I drink alcohol, I always drink it straight. Just ice.
Vodka nice.
Yep.
See, I don't think there's no notes, there's no flavor, there's no real profile of vodka.
Yeah, you're right. It's just there to get you fucked
get hammered. It's just like drinking gasoline.
Yeah.
Like drinking gin. Like drinking gasoline is.
It's hard for me to drink gin anymore either because okay, so the first time I had gin, I was, I think, 19 years old. I was working in sales, and our sales manager took us all out for drinks. He didn't know I was under 21, so he was just like, "Fuck it, a round of martinis for everybody." And it was a Gibson, and Gibsons don't come in that traditional martini glass. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking it's a shooter. So I just take the olive out or the onions out, toss them to the side, and I just drank it. And he looked at me like, "Holy fuck, you're not supposed to do that." And I looked at him like, "Oh my God, that hurt."
Yeah, that'd hurt.
And then not too long after that, I decided let's keep trying gin. And I went to Beefeater because it was cheap. And it was just so harsh.
It's harsh,
uncomfortable.
It's harsh. I gin, like straight, just even gin and tonic, I'm out.
Yeah.
I think there was a time when just out of high school, we used to do gin and Super Sacco. Remember Super Sacco?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're in a club somewhere, it was what do we have? Gin sours.
Yep. Did you ever mix Alizé and vodka like Tupac?
No, I wasn't that dark back then.
See, back then I used to DJ a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we always heard, these rappers promoting different drinks and all that. Mm-hmm. And then just because Tupac was Tupac at the time, he was the fucking man. Everyone was, it's none but a gangster party. Yeah. So everyone wanted to drink the Alizé and vodka. And so we would drink that at hotel parties.
Yeah.
And, you know how hotel parties always went.
Oh, there's always a fight. There's always always someone throwing paint on your car.
Yeah, something going on. Getting kicked out of the hotel that you just spent $200 on.
Yep. No, it wasn't $100. It wasn't $200 back then. It was probably only like $75 or $65.
Well, we got we would go to like the Holiday Inn or the Hiltons.
Even back then, they weren't $200, were they?
Yeah, the suites, yeah.
No, going to a suite, okay.
Yeah. We always did the suites because if we happened to, hook up with the chick that night, we wanted to seem fancy. We wanted to, posture like we were somebody.
Okay. At the Holiday Inn. Yeah. Budget ballers.
It is what it is.
Budget ballers.
Ghetto chicks don't know the fucking difference.
They just have a big room. Like, oh, look at this.
Yeah. Could have put a disco ball in the ceiling and they would have been like, oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
this is the shit, Holmes.
Exactly.
Orale.
Let's lay.
Yeah, I need to make a trip to the store though and get some more whiskey. I'm going to try to find some Old Forester this time.
Okay.
Try to look for it last time and just they didn't have any.
Where do you go? Like by your house? Is you have to go into Murfreesboro or
I'm going to next time. We only have 3 liquor stores here. So this last time I tried a new one, and I walked in and they had very small selection of some good stuff. So for example, they had just Jack Daniels, they had Fireball, they had just the generic really cheap shit. And I realized really quickly that's the Ghetto store.
It's the well, yeah. And that's in Shelbyville.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I realized really quick that's the Ghetto store, because also people are coming in as I'm looking for a good bottle. People are coming in just grabbing handles of Jack Daniels. So on top of that, I realized that when I did find a good bottle, it was way overpriced.
Yeah.
So I could have gone to another store that's, out of the way a little bit, maybe about 1.5 miles away from that store. But the first store that he went to originally was only 1/4 mile away. So I just went back to that one. And funny enough, the last time I went to that store, I got 4 bottles. And it was supposed to be $158. And when I checked my bank statement, he only charged me $1.58.
So he had to manually type into the credit card machine?
Yeah. So I was like, thank you, my friend. So when I went back to...
Now you're back and spend $156.
So I went back to the store again, thinking maybe he might do that again. But I think he recognized me, like, oh, that's the fucking guy.
Yeah, that's the guy. I'm gonna make sure I double check his order.
Yeah. But next time I am going to go to Murfreesboro and see if I can find a liquor store there that's a little bit larger and has more of a selection. But I definitely want to try the 12-year Dickel and Old Forester.
Yeah, the 12-year Dickel is pretty good. You'll like that. I had the Old Forester. Where were we at? We're somewhere, and they had it, and I had it. It was a decent sipper.
Yeah,
I think we're in Phoenix somewhere at one of the crazy bars out there.
I think that's a problem with me, though. Everyone keeps telling me that things are a sipper. This is that. This is a mixer. I tend to not sip. I gulp. And that's part of the problem, because if I like it, I'm going to, like last night, the wife poured me in herself a glass, and within less than 20 minutes, I drank it. And she's kind of looking at me like, "Are you going through something right now?" So I got up and poured another one.
Yeah, I'm going through this bottle. Fast as I can.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. There's like, I'll do like an if I get an old fashioned, they're like 2 drinks, 3 drinks, and they're done. But the problem with that is that an old fashioned, you go to some place where they're actually making an old fashioned, they're gonna charge you $18 for it anyway. I'm like, I might as well just get something better than $18 and for a shot and a pour and just sip on it. Without having all the sugar and shit in my body.
I've never had an old fashioned, so it's this weekend the wife and I were going to go to dinner, and hopefully it's hard to find a really fancy restaurant in Shelbyville, so might have to go to Murfreesboro and go to a place and order an old fashioned.
Yeah, it's there's the normal traditional old fashioned is good, but you're gonna go through and you're gonna say, okay, well, I'm gonna do it with Knob Creek. Well, you're gonna go like, wait a minute, I want to just drink Knob Creek. So I usually like, okay, well, let's do something a little better. But we went to the bar called Bourbons and Bone. It's not a bar; it's a restaurant, and they did a smoked whiskey. So they smoke the whiskey shot first, and then they mix the it's orange liqueur, cherry liqueur, and they put the actual drunken cherry in there, not just a regular maraschino cherry, and then you get your bitters and your orange zest in there, and your orange twist in there. And that one's really good, but it's a $24 freaking drink or $26 drink. It's somewhat ridiculous for that. I'm like, well, it's just like so much for them to put it together. I might as well just drink something good.
Yeah.
So
usually you do have a point. It by the time you order 2 of those, one for you, one for the wife, that's a bottle of.
It's $60. It's yeah. But it's also like, okay, well, if you're not you guys aren't wine drinkers at all?
No, she is, but not me.
She is. Okay. Yeah. So like dinner, like I can do a bottle of wine. Like during the week, I have a glass of wine here and there, and I'm good. So yeah, I do. It's a decision between, okay, we can have 4 glasses with a bottle of wine or 2 drinks. So what are you going to have? It's usually right about the same. I mean, if I'm spending more than $60 for a bottle of wine at a restaurant, I'm going to go home and drink the stuff that comes from the winery that we get in an order, and drink that good stuff instead of overpaying for a bottle that I know that I have better at home. So there's that problem.
I'll tell you what, though, it is cheaper than buying a $375 bag of weed.
Yeah.
And smoking the bag of weed in 2 weeks. And then having to buy another $300, $75 bag of weed. Because you're a fucking degenerate smoker. I have saved a lot of money since I stopped smoking pot.
Yeah. Well, if you're smoking that much, yeah. I'm like, I go get a 20-pack of these nighttime gummies, and it's like $16, and get 2 of those in the last month and a half.
I was at one point, I was smoking 2 ounces of weed a month.
Jeez.
At my peak.
That's
when back in the day when I used to sell weed, it was quite a bit more than that. I was probably smoking 3 ounces a month.
Yeah,
and I was only doing it to
growing it.
Well, I would have, but I had nowhere to really grow it. I lived in a duplex, and at the time, it wasn't exactly legal.
It wasn't
in Colorado
legal at all.
No. So Yeah.
Sorry, I have the KOH quals on the right screen and you on the left screen.
Let's talk about that. King of Hammers is, at the time we're recording this. King of Hammers 2024 is going on. Just a little while ago, one of our good friends, Diesel Krentz, just finished his qualifying run at, what was it, 12 minutes?
Yeah, it's about 12 minutes in the 4,500s.
Yeah. And our other good friend, Sergio, had a really good lap time of 11 minutes and some change.
Yeah, he was number one for a while. Then, and I think in the EMC class, I think he's first off the line. I think still.
Really?
I think for the day there was like an 8-minute, but it was in a 4,800 car.
Right.
So I think that 12-minute on a 4,500 car is pretty good. Probably get beat and probably start middle of the pack, 15th, somewhere around there. So watching right now what is this? I can't even tell what they are. It's not showing anything. It's all far. I can't see that good.
It's funny is when I'm watching it and they'll announce a name. I'm like, I know that guy. That's my Facebook friend. I've wheeled with him.
Yeah, there's a pretty big list of here people. I mean, that I've known for quite some time that are in the Everyman Challenge Day call today. That wheeled with, good friends, people I've hung out with for number of events throughout the years, and then a few more in the 4,400s.
So we're not seeing John Grounds this year, though, right?
John Grounds is not racing this year. John Grounds is cars for sale. John moved back to New Jersey to take an engineering job with the company that he's been with for a little bit of time. So he moved back, and they're working on getting a custody situation up with his new wife's oldest child. So John's like, I got family's coming first right now. He's like, I've let the race car be first long time, so family's first. So
totally understand.
So hey, that's fucking shitty ass grown up decisions you got to make that suck ass.
Tell me about it. Yeah, and I'm sure
I feel
it's
for you,
him.
brother. Oh yeah. I miss the guy as long as I know John. 12 years, 13 years. He's just been a racer. Yeah. He's been at some point either behind the scenes or in the scene or at KOH for a number of years that I've gone. Just that's kind of we live 20 minutes away from each other and see each other in California at KOH once a year. Maybe at EJS too, but that was kind of it. So yeah, definitely tough, but hey, he's doing what his heart and his mind tells him he needs to do right now. So shitty ass grown up freaking decisions.
Yeah. I mean, at some point I think you do have to switch gears and pivot. It's just probably harder to do when it's, I don't want to say ultimatum, but it's almost a forced decision because the family does come first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're I don't know if it's forced. It's you're choosing. You're letting your heart choose, and you're figuring out what you want long term. I mean, how many 67-year-old racers are there really out there? Very few.
Right.
So your life is not going to go into the sunset as a racer for the most part. Could, but that's probably not where it's going to be. And you're pulling double duty because, I mean, let's face it, racing is not paying the bills. No. Racing takes a lot. They say you want to become a millionaire, start off racing as a billionaire.
Yeah, I think when we had Bill on, Bill Schultz, he kind of explained that also.
Yeah, it takes a lot, and it's the actual cash that comes out of your pocket is hefty, but the time to get the car ready, to build the car, to fix the car, to make changes to the car between races, all that. If you're going to race a series, and now you got to bring it back, basically rebuild it. I mean, let's face it. Like, these cars come back from KOH, they're all like yard sale at that point. Take it completely apart, figure it all out, so you can race in a month or so, and try to get it back as best you can to some sort of shape where it can race and be good. And if you have a race team that has money and people that you're paying to do that work, it's way easier. But when you have no money and you're privateering this yourself and paying the bills, working full time, a family, it becomes tough.
Who do you think is the oldest Ultra 4 racer right now?
Right now, Shannon probably has to be up there in the age, and he's 53. It's just, I think Shannon's a couple years younger than me, so probably there. I mean, I'm really got to think about this now.
And the reason why I ask is because, A, like you mentioned, it's costly, and two, at that point of an age, you don't recover physically from certain things quickly, unless you're already in peak performance shape, which a lot of these guys, let's face it, are not.
Oh yeah.
I mean, these are weekend warriors, basically.
I come back from just going to KOH sick and tired and broken because I slept on a shitty mattress and it's cold and wet, and I didn't get a shower every day, and I come back and I'm like, I can't walk for a week. Just the drive over there, the drive back, and this is brutal.
Yeah. So I mean, at some point, it starts becoming it becomes more of a burden, I guess you can say. A burden on time, money, and physically. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things. If that's what you're trying to do, then, and that's what your life is about, then it would do that. And definitely more taxing in a racing like KOH and Ultra 4 and off-road rock racing and in this sport than someone that's, say, in a quarter-mile car, or even doing laps on a regular asphalt street track or something like that. I mean, it's a whole different thing that happens between the two. And this, I mean, just some of the commercials, just like, I just imagine, like, all day, like, just even wheeling all day, you come back and you're just like, it's all right, I'm just done.
Yeah.
Just done. And you add wind and cold and sun. I mean, it's probably 80 degrees out there. The dust, seeing the dust cloud over Hammertown is like,
the black lung.
I'm happy watching it from here. I'm having a little FOMO from not being there, just to see my friends leave and watch and be there for the excitement as they take off from the start line, come back from the finish line, like being in the pits, hanging out in the pits, hanging by the fire, like all that stuff that happens at KOH. I'm feeling the FOMO, but then I'm looking at the overview of the dirt and the freaking sky going, I'm so glad I'm not there. I finally get all this freaking lung crap all cleared out of myself, and that would kill me to go for 2-3 days out there.
So since you've been there and I haven't, what's the situation like when you're there? I mean, like you said, you don't have a shower every day. Obviously, you don't have plumbing, so you don't have a proper toilet. What's the harshest reality of going to the lake bed for someone that hasn't gone?
Well, it really depends on your accommodations. So there's hotels that are not too far away, but still it's an hour commute out, an hour commute back. Sometimes there's traffic on Boone Road to get out to the highway, and then traffic on the highway to get into Yucca. So if you're in a hotel offsite, you get a shower every night, but Now you have a 2-hour commute back and forth to Hammertown. You stay in Hammertown, and depending on what your sleeping situation is, you're in an RV, travel trailer, tent, whatever. It really depends on your accommodation. You come up with your toter home that has a full-size shower and water. There's a guy that comes around and dumps toilets and puts fresh water out into the rig, so you can pay for someone to be out there. You don't have to move anything. So there's convenience that happens from there. It's just a matter of what you're putting into it. But for years, we used to go just take the big trailer, and I would take my giant freaking air mattress and generator and a heater, and we'd sleep in a big open box trailer, not really have a shower and no bathroom in that. So I was just get in the truck, and you pee where you pee. And then I'm an early riser, so I'd get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, cold as hell, put my clothes on, or get up and whore bath in the trailer, put my clothes on, go into Hammertown, and then wait for the porta potty cleaners to finish. They usually finish about 6:30, 6:45, so you can get in there right when there's like fresh cleaned and sanitized. And they sanitize the hell out of those things. They're all power wash clean. You're looking down and the water is all clear and blue. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be the first one in this one today. So you get your first shit out in the morning, early. And if you can put yourself on that schedule and get yourself in that once a day schedule, then that's your best bet. Mm. So, I mean, like I said, it's really a matter of what you're paying for your facilities to be out there. Mm-hmm. This year, I was planning to go out, take the travel trailer, so I'd have a shower, I'd have my good bed, I'd have everything that I would need there with me, which would be like the first time ever I've been to Hammers with like a comfortable situation. It's always been like, oh yeah, well, you come and crash here, sleep here, whatever. We rented a travel trailer years ago when I took a couple of veterans out for Hero to KOH, and I slept on the floor in the freaking garage of the toy hauler. And the garages and toy haulers are not insulated. They're not heated. There's not much of anything. So I froze my ass off. I was uncomfortable. It was terrible. But at least there was some water there, so I could actually shit there. But I still ended up getting up early and going down to the portas. It was just easier for me to do it that way.
Yeah.
And then you can half-ass whore bath in the trailer.
The food situation has gotten better also from what I hear.
Yeah. The nice thing about the food situation, yeah, if you're just a spectator and you're hanging out on the outside, then yeah, you're kind of just whatever vendors there or whatever you're cooking in camp yourself. But it's nice, like, well, I mean, I had sponsored drivers and friends and stuff that all race, so just walk through camp and everyone's like handing you food. So I never really had to cook like it at all. I think usually like in the morning, if I didn't feel like getting up and cooking, because if we were out there, like Will and I would go out there, I would just cook breakfast. We have breakfast burritos in the morning. That's enough to get you through like lunch, and then usually like an earlier dinner, and then all of a sudden you're just getting handed food for wherever you go, walking around, and you're just like, okay, you're not going hungry. So it's a great experience. There's first couple years I went, it was kind of more of on the spectator side, but I was a vendor, so I was in vendor row. And there was a lot more that happened in vendor row that happens outside. So you're in the main fire. There's like hanging out there, and then usually within the vendors is usually someone's having some sort of dinner or whatever. I think for the longest time, Ridge would have a barbecue one night, and then another company would have tacos another night, and you just rotate on whoever's having dinner too, and work your schedule around your food schedule around who has the most amount of food, so you don't have to cook.
Yeah.
And then we did with Raceline with Greg Mulkey from Raceline. We did collaboration hot dog and barbecue grilled and stuff like that. I just bring the grill out and we go to town and just get a bunch of crap and just feed a bunch of people.
I might still have to go. I'm
It
not a
is
fan of
something you
going
have to
back to
experience.
California for anything, but
it is an experience, and good, bad, or indifferent, however you feel about it, it is still something that if you're into the racing and into that lifestyle, it is still something that is fun to go to and go do and be a part of. The sights, the sounds, the craziness, it's all fun. So I don't know. Next year I'll have to plan better. I was trying to plan, and then just everything else going on around here, I just didn't get it all together. But I was going to take the travel trailer out there, park it, and just hang out for 4 or 5 days,
mm-hmm.
and then leave as soon as the EMC race was over, because I could get out. I could leave without having to wait in line after the Ultra 4 race happens, and just be home and then watch it on TV.
Mm-hmm. So
it gets a little bad.
I would have to debate whether to go as a spectator or to go with the media pass.
I would do the first one as the spec. Just go to hang out. Actually, we'll have to get Jose on when he gets back. So
is he there?
So yeah, there was he's with Will Gentile. Was looking for someone to go around and do some filming with the race team out there, and I think it's one of the Optima teams. I don't know which team it is, but he was looking for someone, and I was like, hey, just look up Jose, and him and Jose talked, whatever, and he greenlit Jose. So Jose's went out there to go be immersed in with the team to go for the week and spend a week filming and doing that stuff. So I think it'd be a big step for him to push in that side of it, especially working with Will. I mean, Will Gentile is essentially the KOH freaking media king.
Yeah. So I got lucky to subcontract for him here in Nashville a couple of years back. He got contracted for some work. He somehow was double booked, which happens. And he reached out to me and said, hey, you're in Nashville, right? I said, yeah. And he's like, I have this opportunity. I can't make it. I'll give you the full bird of everything. And if you're interested, let me know. And without hesitation, I was like, yes, just because I know who he is. I know his stature in the game, and it might open up an opportunity again. So yeah. I definitely jumped at the opportunity to work with him. So yeah, for Jose to do it, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it was huge. So I'm gonna. He keeps sending me little pictures, little something here and there. He was at the drivers meeting, and he's like, "Dude, thank you so much. This was so much fun." And then he's like, "Hey, I ran into a buddy of yours." So I ran into a buddy of yours. He said, "Hey," and so I know he's loving it right now. And like I said, a media pass like that would probably be a little different than someone that's on the track, schlepping around a camera in the dirt and the dust and fighting cars and getting roosted and shit like that in the freaking dust behind I don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that.
You get double black lung from that.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, you're sitting in the freaking dust zone. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit. Before we started recording, we were talking about shows, TV shows and Netflix shows and that sort of thing. This past weekend I was watching, I love old Westerns.
Yes, they're the best.
Especially like Clint Eastwood stuff.
Yep.
He's one of my favorite directors and producers of Westerns. And I was watching Joe Kidd. And I noticed that everyone that was portraying a Mexican was just a white guy with a dirty, scruffy beard and mustache and a tan.
Or a long stringy mustache.
Long stringy mustache or something, and they would just talk like this, and he's Mr. Joe Kid.
Yeah,
like, my God.
Or just an Italian guy.
Yeah,
it was usually an Italian. It was a lot of Italians that ended up in the Mexican roles. You like read the credits, I'm like, it wasn't a brown guy, that was a olive oil guy.
Well, it was. So I found out it. So I'm sure a lot of people know this, but the reason why they called them spaghetti westerns was because they made a lot of them in Italy.
Yes.
And
on the spaghetti side, yeah.
Yes. So there were a lot that were made in Italy, but there were also a ton just made in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how you can differentiate the spaghetti western and just a regular western, is because they would use Italian actors mostly for what they were filmed in Italy.
Yeah. Well, and also they're very corny when they're spaghetti westerns.
Yeah. The overdubbing is awful
because they're in Italy. They're corny.
However, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, by far, probably the best western ever made.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many moments in that movie where there's no dialogue, but the scene is set with emotion and music.
Yeah, a couple sound effects in the background.
Yeah.
Little whistling, and you get it all together, and you don't have to have. I mean, come on, how much do men really talk?
Right. Would you consider There Will Be Blood a western?
I don't know. There Will Be Blood.
It's Daniel Day-Lewis, where he was he was a oil tycoon. I mean, it wasn't exactly Old West setting, but it was, early 1900s.
Wikipedia claims it's a western.
Really?
An American epic period drama that's they classify as a western. I don't know. I've never seen that.
Oh my God. You've got to see it. It is so good. Daniel Day-Lewis is one of the best actors in our generation. I don't care what the fuck he was in. Last of the Mohicans, There Will Be Blood, Kings of New York. The guy is just phenomenal. It's hard to say that there's nothing that he's in that is half-hearted. I mean, even Lincoln. You've got to see that movie.
All right. I'll have to
put it on your list. I think it's on Max right now, HBO. It's on one of those streaming channels. I just saw it. I wanted to watch it again, but I know the wife would have been like, again? You just saw this last week.
You have something going on?
You going through something?
Are you going through something?
Yeah, I'm going through this movie again and another fucking bottle.
The bottle of Knob Creek coming down.
Yeah. But on Netflix, I just finished a series called Brother Son. And it's I want to call it's a kung fu show because there's a lot of martial arts in it. It takes place in your old stomping grounds.
My Monterey Park, Alhambra area, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's all ganged, right? It's all the local gangs out there, the Watchings, and they probably don't mention them that.
Well, no, these are actual gangs from Tokyo that traveled to the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not part of the local gangs. They're larger scale.
Yeah, it's a larger scale thing. I don't want to get too crazy with detail because it's worth watching. I binge watched the whole fucking thing.
I watched the trailer and I was like, I don't know.
So there's a lot of comedy in it, which I loved because it breaks from all of the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to have that comic relief in it.
Yeah.
So the comedic aspects of it made it even that much better, in my opinion. Okay. I liked it. And then I just finished watching Griselda, which is about Griselda Blanco, and all of the chaos that she caused in Miami in the 80s with all the cocaine trafficking. Have you seen that one yet?
No.
God damn.
I can get through, I don't know, only a couple of things. I'll sit and have the History Channel sitting on the Samsung TV. They have the History Channel. It's like the mega everything, more Marvels. It's mega Marvels and stuff like that. Like stuff like that. That'll just be on the background, and I won't even watch TV. That'll just be like and I'll sit and I'll watch like 5 minutes of how nuclear bombs were made or something like that. And I think
that's why you got to watch Oppenheimer.
I watched Oppenheimer.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh,
that's
Oppenheimer was good.
Did you see Killers of the Flower Moon?
I was hoping Oppenheimer was going to be more about the actual work that Oppenheimer did rather than the shit that they did to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted more of let's get the technology of this shit happening. I want to see the tech behind it. I don't want to see like the politics shit. It's all just politics shit.
I don't think they can really tell us about the tech because then we'll go make our own fucking bomb.
Nobody's doing that.
I would. Like, wait, you're telling me all I need is this fucking little atom and I split this thing and that's it?
No. You see, like what they're doing is like, no, they're trying to get plutonium, and there's only so much they can get per day or per week, and they have to like basically hoard it as it comes through, and they're trying to buy it and whatever. I'm like, how am I building a bomb? I mean, seriously, you want to build a bomb? Look up YouTube how to build a pipe bomb. Go try that. One of those blow up in your face, and then you'll never want to build another bomb.
I got a whole bunch of leftover M80s from 4th of July.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna
and you don't want to
those together.
No, and you don't want to shoot them off now because you're like, fuck, they're starting to get old now. I don't know if that fuse is going to go faster or slower, if it's going to die out.
Yeah. So
and then I got to go retrieve this fucking thing. Fuck this.
So I go to the trash can. I had lit a few on New Year's. New Year for was it? Yeah, that night at 10 o'clock because I was not staying up to midnight. So I usually light them in my hand and just toss them, like a big boy. Mm-hmm. And there was one. It was no more than a few inches out of my hand. Pop!
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, that's the last one for tonight.
Yeah, because the you store them and then the fuse dries out and it doesn't have any oils or anything in it. So now it goes 10 times faster than it's supposed to. Or the worst part is you throw it and then the fuse dies out, but there's still like, you can't see it. It's on the inside. You start walking. And I was like, boom, it blows in your face. You're like, fuck.
Back up, Terry.
Yeah,
Back up, Terry.
So I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm okay with not doing that anymore. I blew something into my eyeball when I was about 10 on 4th of July one year. Mm. And it was a match. The sulfur from the match stick, not even a matchstick, in a matchbook. You pull the little cardboard piece out. It has the little dip of the igniter on the end of it. Yep. Well, apparently when I hit it, it's broke in half, and half of it went in my eye and burnt my eyeball. So I didn't even blow up anything in my hand or anything. I lit it, but it went in my eye, and whatever. Then my eye just got worse and worse. So I had to go to the optometrist. They had to like soak my eye, and it was a big to do. But I've done all that. Almost blow my hand off with firecrackers, and had a bottle rocket blow up in my ear.
So speaking of bottle rockets, when I was a kid, in front of my mom's house, this was on 4th of July. My brother and we used to do bottle rocket races. Just put them on the ground, light them at the same time, and
yeah. So
we're looking at them, trying to light them. There's a little bit of wind, so we're struggling a little bit. And apparently I didn't hear it, but my mom said, there's a cop, there's a cop, there's a cop. And we didn't hear her. So that we both lit them almost at the damn same time. And they go flying and they both explode right near the car window.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, oh shit. So my brother and I just ran. And the cop, of course, was just like, it's 4th of July. He was kind of cool about it. So all of a sudden we heard my mom like, they went that way. She fucked with us a lot. It was kind of funny.
But yeah, no, there's certain things that I did when I was younger that I'm just like, yeah, I have no care. I have no desire to do any of that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Fireworks in my hand is a big one of them.
Yeah, I can see that. So there was another show that I saw last night that I found really interesting. It was called June, and it was about June Cash, Johnny Cash's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting lady. She was funny.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to be an actress. She was actually in a few things, less things than I'm sure she hoped for. But the appearances that she had on the Grand Ole Opry, she was a fucking knee slapper.
Yeah, she was
quick witted.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a little bit about Johnny with Andrew,
mm-hmm.
and this even their story together is pretty freaking crazy.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I knew about her before this was from the movie Walk the Line.
Okay.
The Johnny Cash movie. And obviously she was not as attractive as Reese Witherspoon, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of outkicked the
cover.
coverage.
You're a short list there.
Yeah.
You're a very short list there.
But yeah, it was an interesting show for anyone that's into country music and the old stuff. You appreciate the old stuff, you should check it out. It's on Showtime right now.
Okay.
You can watch it through the Paramount app if you have that.
Yep.
And then something else that I've been fascinated with lately on YouTube is police-involved shootings. I love watching these dumb fuckers get shot by cops. Drop the gun. Drop the gun. No. Okay.
Boom. Oh, why did you have to kill him? Well, because he's a fucking idiot.
And then I've also been watching court cases that are people claiming to be sovereign Americans.
Oh, geez. Those guys are the fucking worst.
It's comical.
That's the most annoying thing in the world are those people. There's someone like send me a video or whatever, something. I'm like, oh fuck, I can't watch this. I can't do it. We have I think we talked about the local deputy here. He's got they put out Fridays with Frank. So a weekly video, and there's a few of them that pop up here. I'm like, okay, I'm not watching this today. Those people are so fucking retarded. I can't even deal with them.
There's this one guy that he goes in front of the judge and says, the law says this, this, and this. I don't have to do this. And she said, can you read me that statute, please? And he starts reading it, and it says, and he includes the state of, I think, let's say, for example, Illinois. You'll say Illinois statute, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you do realize, sir, you live in Louisiana. And there's this other guy complaining that he doesn't need a lawyer if he just reads the law. If he reads the law, then he can represent himself. And so this judge starts ripping into this guy. You know what, man? Like, I went to law school for 8 years. I did post law after that for 4 years. She's going off reading off her resume. And she's like, it is not easy to just read the law and know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And you can tell the guy's like, "Oh fuck! I just pissed off this judge.
Just pissed off the judge.
She's about to throw the book at me.
She's dropping the hammer now."
Yeah. It's, and some of these things are stupid, like speeding tickets. Just pay the fucking speeding ticket, man. No seatbelt.
Or don't speed.
Or don't speed.
If you don't want to pay the ticket, you don't want to go to court, don't do it. I do it, and I know if I get caught, I'm going to have to pay the fine and whatever, and I take my chances. I roll the dice every time.
Yep.
I do it. But if I really felt that strongly about it, I wouldn't speed. I wear my seatbelt all the time. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that growing up I never did, because they just weren't something that you had or you had to do.
Right.
But I think by the time I started driving, it started becoming a law. Mm-hmm. Remember the cars that had the little motorized seatbelt that?
Yeah, I hated those things.
Come up over your shoulder.
Did you ever open the door and stick your head out, and then the thing just closes on your head, and you're like,
guillotine you, like
you're hanging yourself?
Yeah, all the time. So, but
fucking bullshit.
But it's one of those things. Like I just always wear my seatbelts. I don't have to worry about that. Believe it or not, I'm a brown man with insurance. And I have a valid driver's license. Yeah, when I was a kid, I did, and I fucked around. I had unpaid tickets. I spent a weekend in the county jail for that. But whatever.
The last speeding ticket I got, I tried to outrun him as fast as I could before he can transition back onto the freeway that I was on.
How long ago was this?
This was in Colorado in 2018.
Oh, okay. So not that long ago.
No. So for anyone that has been out near the Coors factory, I think if I remember correctly, it's Highway 58.
So out to Golden.
Yeah. So I was going from Golden to Lakewood. So I was transitioning onto I-70, going west. It was at that intersection. He was facing towards Golden, and I was driving towards Lakewood, towards Denver. I was probably doing 30 over the speed limit, easily. There was never cops there. Never. So I was like, fuck it. I want to hurry up and get home.
Just cruise. Yeah.
So I see him, and I'm like, if he's already got me on radar, there's no need slowing down.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but the best I can do is be far enough ahead of him, maybe get an off ramp, and
yes, and that's exactly what I had to try to do. So as soon as I passed him, I sped up even more, thinking, okay, he can only get me for doing 30 over right at this point. So I speed up even more. I transition onto I-70. I'm about to get off the highway, and all of a sudden I see him come right behind me on the off ramp. I'm like, how the fuck did he catch me? So he hits the lights. I'm like, okay, he got me.
Yeah, you got me.
He got me. So I pull over, and he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why? So, well, if I tell you, it's incrimination. He's like, well, you're going to be getting a ticket anyways. I'm like, yes, I was speeding. And he starts laughing.
Well, I'm sure you're going to tell me that anyway. It doesn't really matter. I don't have to tell you. You're going to tell me.
So on this day, I had a big lunch, and it was to the point of I needed to loosen my belt one notch type of big lunch.
Were you turtling?
No.
Oh, okay.
I took my gun out of my holster, and I had it stuffed in the seat and the center console.
The seat in the console.
Yeah. So I see him kind of like, oh, he's got a weapon. So I'm like, I'm going to just let him know that I'm not here to hurt him. I want him to go home, and I want to go home, type thing, So like, just so you know, I have a pistol. It's not holstered. I just wanted to declare it so we were both safe. He's like, okay, I appreciate that. Do you mind if I just make sure it's safe? I'm like, no, I just want to make sure we're all both safe when we both go home. So it's like, okay, just step out and sit right there. And he reached in, grabbed it, unchambered the load or the round that was in there, took the magazine out, put the round that was loose in his pocket. He left the gun on top of the roof, but he put the magazine in his pocket. Went to his car, wrote the ticket. When he came back, I signed the ticket. He put the magazine and the round in my glove box. And he says, "All right, you're free to go. Just do me a favor. After I leave, you can rechamber that and be on your way." Like, fair enough.
Boom. That's the way you handle it.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I mean, unless you're a felon and you're not supposed to have it. If you have it legally, just tell them.
Yeah.
Just tell them.
People will say that I'm violating my own rights. And I'm like, it's not, how can I be violating my own rights if I'm giving up that? It's not even giving up the right. It's just making sure that I'm going home safe.
Right. But you're both understand what's in store, what's at the hand. And I have it. I don't want to hurt you. And they were like, okay, you're telling me this, so you're not likely going to shoot me. Usually the guys that shoot aren't telling them anything.
Yeah. And remember, this was during a lot of heavy tension with race, all the riots that were going on. I think it was 2019, now that I think about it. Because I remember the car that I had.
It was the Floyd era.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID George Floyd era.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was very cognizant of what was going on in social media and society in general. And I have respect for police. And the last thing I wanted this guy to do was think, he looks sketchy. He's got a shaved head. He's got brown skin.
Yeah, he's gonna get nervous. I mean, you're gonna fit the profile of 100 shitheads he's had to deal with over the past years of him working a job. Not the 100 nice people that have actually had respect, and you offer the respect, and all of a sudden he understands that you're not there to do anything wrong. And it's simple. It's a simple reciprocation. Is all that it is. It's a respect for the job. It's respect for the danger, respect for the shit he sees, the shit he has to go through, and the shit you don't want to have to go through.
Yeah. I mean, I have gone through,
listen to me.
I have gone through some police shit before. I was a knucklehead, obviously, where I grew up.
100%. 100%. There was one time on police cars.
Yeah. I mean, there was one time where I'm walking back into my neighborhood. I was probably, I think I was 14 or 15 at the time. It was probably 1 a.m. There was a shooting in my neighborhood. They had police blocking off every exit of the neighborhood that they can. They had it surrounded. I'm walking back home, and there's a cop on a motorcycle, and he's like, "Hey, you can't. We're searching for someone. You can't go into the neighborhood." I'm like, "I just want to go home," and I kept walking. He says, "Stop right now." I'm like, "I'm going home." I'm at that age, I'm full of piss and vinegar. I don't give a fuck what anyone says, type of attitude, And I keep walking, and he's like, "Stop right now, or I'm going to arrest you." And I just stopped, didn't turn around. I hear him coming up from behind, and he just grabs me in a fucking headlock from behind and throws me down to the curb, puts handcuffs on me, sits me down. It's like, "Did you not understand what the fuck I just told you?" And he's in my face. He's got his helmet on still. So he's doing this thing. He's poking his helmet, the brim of his helmet, in my forehead. And I'm thinking, fuck, I fucked up.
Yeah.
So
it's coming from the things I used to do. I mean, just dumb stuff. Pulled out of vehicles. I mean, I was a 19-year-old kid. I had a really good job at Smart and Final. I was making like $19 an hour, working like 20 hours overtime. So I had a shit ton of money. I didn't pay any rent. I lived at home. Had a nice lifted Toyota truck with a all black paint job. So it was a little punk kid that was driving around in a truck that made them all jealous. Mm-hmm. So I'd get pulled out of thing all the time. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? What kind of drugs you sell? I'm like, I work at Smart and Final. Here's my badge. Here's my page stubs. This is what I do. It is what it is. But you also see them dealing with the shit bags that look like me, dressed like me, that are in a stolen car, that are doing other shit that's way worse than what I was doing. But you get it. You just like, okay, well, I'll show you what I have, and I'm walking away. I'm going home. I've always gone home. It's like training day.
Yeah. There was one time this is the funniest encounter I probably had with the cop. I was in my truck. It's a little, it's bench seat. It was a Toyota. It was a 92 single cab short bed. So you could only fit 3 people in there comfortably. Barely comfortably. Yeah.
And if it was a stick shift, forget about it.
Yeah. Oh, I had to stick shift.
Yeah. So the knees over.
Yeah.
Getting your knee banged with that stick shift.
So we're on the backside of a school near my house, and this was when underglow lights were first a thing. This was back in 96, 95, somewhere around there. And I had these purple underglow lights on my truck. And I forgot to turn them off. We're smoking a blunt in the truck. And I look in the rearview mirror, and I'm like, I think that's a cop coming up behind us. My friend's like, don't worry about it. They don't know what the fuck we're doing in here. It's dark. We're just parked. Cop comes behind closer. I'm like, he's going to stop behind us. I'm like, fuck. Throw the blunt out. Throw the blunt out. Throw the blunt out. Windows were already down, so my friend throws the blunt outside. Cop comes up to the window. He's like, hey, what you guys doing? He knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
100% he knew what we were doing. So there was an apartment or condo complex just right across the street. And we're like, oh, we're waiting for his sister to come out. We're going to go get some pizza. He's like, yeah. Okay.
Where's she going to sit? Where's she going to sit?
He's like, cool. You guys just stay in the car. And he goes around to the other side. I think he saw my friend throw the blunt out.
He picked it up.
So yeah, he picks it up and he's like, so you guys smoking any dope? I'm like, dope? No, we're smoking dope. He picks it up. He shows me the blunt. He's like, what's this? I'm like, that's not dope. That's pot. And he starts laughing. And he's like, dope is pot. I'm like, no, it's not.
Dope makes you dopey. Pot just makes you potty.
Yeah. So he's like, so then you don't care if I step on this and, put it out. I'm like, it's not mine. He's like, well,
yeah. The truck doesn't smell like it at all because it doesn't linger.
I was like, it's not mine. He's like, no, it's probably your friend's because he threw it out. I saw him.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that he didn't take us out of the truck and search the truck because there was a bong in the back of the seat. It was a Jerome Baker. And it was glass and he would have broke it.
Yeah, just smashed it.
100% he would have broke it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he laughed. We laughed. He finally told us, just go home and please drive slow.
Yeah. He's like, I know you're going to drive slow anyway. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I don't know. I tell these people like, oh, the police, whatever. I'm like, I've been pulled out of cars. I've been thrown on hoods for stupid shit, done stupid shit, whatever. Now it's just like, all right, center console, hand to the steering wheel. It's in the center console there.
Yeah.
But I mean, trying to think. The last time I was pulled over, I think I was with my buddy Ben. We were coming back from Tierra del Sol. And I had a no light on the license plate, and we're coming back up, and the sheriff pulls me over, and I'm like, Ben always carried. I didn't carry at the time, just because I knew we were going to California. Ben always carries, it doesn't matter where we were going. So Ben had it. So it's like, yeah, it's in the center console. It's whatever. And he's like, okay, cool. All right, thanks for telling me. All right. And he's like, just get it fixed. I'm like, okay. So whatever. But my last speeding ticket, I'm trying to remember my last speeding ticket. I believe it was 2003.
Wow.
The last speeding ticket. And before that, I don't even know when I got a speeding ticket before that. The last ticket I got was in 2007. And I got a ticket and I was so pissed off. We were moving from Riverside to Queen Creek to Phoenix, Arizona. And I was going back for the last load of shit that I have, the little utility trailer. And I was on the 91 freeway, and the 91 freeway merged with the 605 and then opens up to like 6 lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't really get over in that traffic with a trailer like right over. And he saw me in the merge. He came behind me, and I had to signal on like I was trying to get over, but I just couldn't get over. And he pulled me over and let me up. I'm like, you motherfucker. And I go, you saw my signal. You saw me come across. I saw you there. You knew what I was trying to do, and you're going to try to, and you gave me a ticket for this shit anyway. I was so pissed off. It was like the crowning moment to leaving California and be like, fuck you, motherfuckers. I'm done. Peace, fuckers. But then you get something like that. Like, dude, you clearly know what I was doing. I had a signal on. You see the traffic. How am I supposed to move over? And I'm still in a section where technically there's 7 lanes. So there is no real first lane here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're just an asshole, but
yeah,
whatever.
So one thing I just saw that I thought was funny is this happened a couple weeks ago, but we've been having guests on. I haven't had the chance to bring it up. Howard Stern said that he was diagnosed with COVID. Now, I haven't listened to him in forever, especially since he went really hard left. During COVID,
I don't know.
During COVID, he went super hard left, and he hasn't left his high-rise apartment since then. Literally hasn't left it. He would tell anyone that has not got the COVID shot is a piece of shit. These people are killing other people because they're infecting other people because they haven't gotten the shot. Hasn't left his apartment, and he gets fucking COVID. I just started fucking laughing.
You can't avoid it.
No,
you're not going to avoid the flu. I don't really care. I mean, unless you're in a vacuum and you don't go out, you grow your own food, you don't have anything come from outside world into your house, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're not going to get it. Pipe in your own oxygen. Don't have someone come clean your house. Don't have someone come deliver your food. Don't have anything happen. Then maybe you have a good chance of not ever getting it, but you're going to get it. It's going to be like the flu. It's just going to, it's going to happen. Someone's going to touch the grocery bag that you just had your food delivered to your house, even if you're not leaving. Someone's hands are touching that. Someone picked up those groceries out the store. Other people that were at the store picked up that can and looked at it and put it back on the shelf before you put it in the bag. So there's like 50 hands that touch everything before you get that bag that gets up to your porch.
Right.
So what do you think?
Did you ever listen to him?
Way back when. I was never a real big Stern fan. He kind of annoyed me. He's one of those ones that was kind of annoying. There's some funny stuff that he's said over the years, and there's funny clips of Stern, but I'm not like I had to listen to him, and I've had friends that were like the Sterners, like, oh, every day, every morning, and got to listen to it from start to finish, and then like sit there and wait for every word and every sentence to find something funny. And I'm like, yeah, there's some funny parts of it, but wasn't my deal.
I used to listen to him a lot when he was on terrestrial radio. And then there was a point where I stopped listening, and I can't remember why, but I stopped listening. And then he went to Sirius XM. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, okay, he'll be more outrageous. He'll be more
unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
He can cuss. He can have. And it didn't change anything. Nothing got better.
It did. It was a little. I won't say he was funnier. The show was funnier because he has. So I don't think people know this, but he has writers. Howard Stern is not a funny man himself.
No, he had a great people that were on the show that were funny, and the people that were the writers were also the guests.
Right. That's what made the show good.
Yeah,
it was his
regulars his regulars are always the funniest part of it, to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a man himself, he was not very funny. He had his funny moments, but if he did not have his writers, he wouldn't be anywhere close to where he was at. He's always had a writer on the show that wrote his jokes. Jackie Martling was the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jackie Martling was a stand-up comic.
Jackie the Joke Man. Yeah.
Yep. And then you had Fred Norris that would inject sounds that were funny and that had a premise to what was going on. So it was never really him. It was always just the show that was funny, but Howard Stern was just I don't want to say ringleader, but because he wasn't even the producer, but he was just the face of it.
Yeah. Yep.
So in 2019, when COVID hit, that's when he started going far left. Actually, it was before that. I think when Trump was running for office is when he started going far left, extreme far left from a lot of the comments that he was making. And then when COVID hit, he just went completely extreme far left. That's the most extreme as you can get. And a lot of his listeners turned their back on him, me included.
Yeah, and I didn't really when he went to XM, I'd listen here and there if I was bored, but it wasn't like anything I ever really paid attention to. I was more a Kevin and Bean weirdo.
Oh yeah,
but even there, like freaking when Jimmy used to be funny.
Remember Tom Likas?
Yeah, I remember Likas show. Was never really a big Likas listener. I don't think I know who he was in his show, but I was never really big.
So the big thing on his show, I think it was on Tuesdays. No, it was Friday. Flash on Fridays. And people would call in, yeah, man, some chick in the car just flashed me her tits. And that was the whole thing. All day people would just call in talking about how they got flashed by some chick. It was kind of funny. The callers were funny. He wasn't so funny. I think his big shtick was saying the sushi bar, referring to pussy. That was his line.
His claim to fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never got into that stuff. I don't know. Like I said, Kevin and Bean I would listen to, like, I think when a couple of jobs I worked at, we'd like get there and it would be like that would be our background. They'd be like Kevin and Bean.
Mm-hmm. Radio has changed quite a bit.
But I wouldn't even know what to listen to on the radio.
Well, you're lucky because there's not much to listen to.
Well, good. So I'm like, I got an XM and I got the old man Pandora. Yes, I'm old. Yeah, I know your Spotify's better. Fuck your Spotify. Spotify sucks.
Spotify is way better.
No, it's not. It's
yeah, you can make playlists on Spotify.
You can make a playlist on Pandora.
They're just so generic, though.
No, no. If you create a station that they let the algorithm make it for you, it's all generic. The thing is, you can create a playlist based upon your thumbs up. You can make a playlist based on whatever, and then you go through and I just fine tune them. So you hold an account long enough and you fine tune your stations. Like as soon as something that doesn't belong in a category shows up on a station, thumbs down.
Does Pandora have podcasts?
Oh,
you wouldn't know. I'm sorry.
You
don't fucking listen to us.
I don't fucking know. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't listen to any podcast. Come on.
All right, I guess we'll wrap it up on that note. But first, I do need to say one thing. I need to say rest in peace to Colorado legendary wheeler Glenn Lassiter. He passed away. He was a Vietnam veteran, patriot of this country. Good man, very good man. Wheeled in Colorado for the longest time. Good friend to me when I was first coming up. So, Glenn, rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace, buddy.
All right, folks, that's it for this week. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. See ya.